Good day, ladies and gents. How are we all doing? I hope we're all good. So, I'm just coming to do a quick recap of Nasdaq, the trades we took from Monday up until today. So, I'll mainly just be focusing on this week. So, to just start off, this week, what was I looking at? So, if you notice here, there's these black lines which are called quarter points or the whole number points. So, if you want, you can just place these on all the whole numbers, especially if you're trading indices. This works for everything you trade, but on this particular video, I'll just be explaining it on Nasdaq. So 26,000, from 26,000, you can go to 25,900. Um, Let me see if I can be able to put them all. Okay, I've got 29,900, 25,900, 25,800. All right, and so on and so on. You guys will just see as I explain. You can put them on, all of them, or you can just put 26, 25, 500, 25, just like that. All right. So again, I think I shouldn't have put them on because right now, it might look a little bit cluttered. So let me just remove these two, which I added so that it can be a little clear. So coming from last week, I believe we set the all-time highs right here. This is what we're looking at on Nasdaq. So if you check, I had this order block marked out as a point of interest, and this whole number point marked out as a point of interest as well. So here you see we broke, we're just playing around this area. Then from Monday, that's where the sale started. So let me just check on my phone and see what trades we took so that I can be able to just explain to you guys. Based on the setups I actually executed. So starting from Monday, okay, Wednesday, Tuesday. Okay, I think I started to take trades on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm only seeing Tuesday here. Okay, let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay, I took a trade on Tuesday. Okay, so from Monday, the bias basically has been bearish. Has been bearish. We broke a few structures here. This was Monday, right? We broke a few structures to the left. So the main bias on Nasdaq has been bearish from the beginning of the week up until now. It's still bearish. Even today, I would say I'm still looking for sells. If price can push up into this red line. Why do I have this red line marked? Is because we had a gap created from the previous week. So again, when this sell was happening, the target was also at this level here, this demand zone, just to cover that gap before we resumed. So sell continued. So I'll be looking for something like this. If this plays out, I'll take the trade. This 50 EMA is also a point of interest. 25,700 is also a point of interest. 25,500 is also a point of interest. So it depends with the way I see price reacting during my KillZone time. So my KillZone time, if you know me, I mainly try and trade New York session. So now let's go to the H1 so that you can see the trades I actually took. So Monday, I did not take a trade. I believe I did not take a trade. If I did, I did not share it. So this was Friday. You can see a clean liquidity sweep here. So on my setups, it's the main thing. We are looking for liquidity sweeps, price tapping into a point of interest and then going the other way. So this was Friday and this was Monday. So Monday, you can see we had equal highs with a slight liquidity sweep above Friday's highs. Then Friday price dropped, retested the order block twice with another liquidity sweep here, nameable candle. Then it dropped. This was Monday. So Monday, I believe I did not take a trade. Then coming into Tuesday now, Tuesday, this is where I took a trade. So Tuesday, I was looking for sells. But if you notice my New York queues on time when it started, I realized that price had dropped from Monday evening, right? And there was a chance price would now retrace coming back into this broken zone, right? This broken support, which is now a possible resistance. Price would also most likely push into the 50 or even come as high as the open price or 26,000. So based on that bias and what I was looking for during my trading time, I actually executed a buy here. I wouldn't, if you're still learning, I wouldn't advise you to trade against the trend. Rather wait for this pullback, then look for the sell. So I was in on a buy here. For those who want to see the results, kindly join our WhatsApp community or our Telegram community because that's where I share these trades. I usually share like before, during, and after, depending with my timing. So I was able to catch 100 points or almost 100 points on this push up. Let's just go to M15 on Tuesday so that you can see what candle I was looking at. So again, before I enter, I always try to look for nameable candles. What is a nameable candle? A nameable candle is a candlestick with a name. For those who don't know about candlesticks, please go through the Candlestick Trading Bible. I'll try to leave a link in the description so that you guys can get familiar with these candlesticks. So I mainly look for pin bars, I look for dojis, I look for bullish engulfing candles, and I look for inside bars. These are the main four candles I look for. These candles, I don't look for them randomly, right? Like here randomly. This is my London session. This is my New York. This is my New York PM. These are my KillZone times whereby I look for trades if I'm actively trading. So if you notice, during my actual trading time, which is the New York KillZone time or the equities open, price gave me this nice pin bar and a visible liquidity sweep here. As I saw this being created, I just jumped into this trade and I was able to catch about let's see, where did I put the results? Okay, here I just have the running trade, but I think I caught 36, 36. I actually caught a clean 100 pips here if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, looking at my phone, I caught a clean 100 pips, 100 points actually coming back into this resistance. So this was my trade. By the time the price continued with the main bias of the day, I was actually done for the day. So personally, for me, trading indices, I usually target 50 to 100 points, especially 100 points. If price moves 100 points, for me, that's a successful trade. So my entry here was on 25, 636. And when I'm looking at my trade here, at some point it went to 25, 7, 4, 7. So already if you do the math here, it's already 100 and something points, which makes this setup a success for me. So again, without wasting much time, Wednesday, what was I looking for? Wednesday, I also had, okay, let's see. Wednesday, what was I looking for? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So again, Wednesday price had dropped. And if I'm looking at this high here, which was left on Tuesday, you see where we topped out. That was my point of interest. So again, my kill zone starts here. And what does price give me during my kill zone? I get a nameable candle all the way from H1. So if you see from H1, we got a nice pin bar, followed by a nice pin bar, followed by a nice pin bar. So maybe one thing I should state is if you're trading back towards your moving averages, remember these are dynamic resistance points. So if you're trading towards them, these are areas where you need to scale out because most of the times price will tap then continue with the normal trend. So just be careful of that. So again, on Wednesday, I managed to take a buy. Let me just scroll down on my phone. Wednesday. Um, let's see. Okay, Wednesday had a nice setup because what happened is price created a fair value gap here, pushed up, retraced into that fair value gap right at my kills on time. So that just made my setup a high probability trade. And if you look at it from M15, what date was it? Thursday. If you look at it from M15, here it's a little bit clearer. You see, um, okay, I think the imbalance was right here. The candlestick which opens the kill zone or when the equities market open, again, nameable candle. All my setups, there is no entry without a nameable candle. Number one, there is no entry outside the kill zone. So again, we managed to wait for this liquidity sweep just below these lows into this fair value gap. And if you look to your left, we had a liquidity sweep here during London session, right? Number one. So we've got a sell side liquidity sweep right here. Then price pushes up. We get a break of structure. So with that retracement or bullish momentum, we just waited for price to give us a sign that it wants to continue up, of which it did. If price had closed back below this fair value gap, we were going to look for sells. That's also something you should just take note of. So we managed to take a trade here. Again, I entered it 25,421 and price got as high as 25,533, which I exited my trade. So I managed to catch more than 100 points again on this trade. So probably 120 based on my entry. Again, if you want to see these entries, guys, you need to join the Telegram. I didn't load the screenshots or the results onto the PC so that I can show you. But those who are in the groups, if you're watching, you already saw these trades play out. Then yesterday, let's go back to H1. So if you also notice, I'm trying to refer back to higher time frame so you can see the bigger play, or rather the market structure coming from the 4 hour coming to the H1. So you can see clearly the market structure where it's swinging, the lower lows and low highs, showing that we are in a downtrend, right? So yesterday, just to zoom in, if you also notice, I'm still maintaining a bearish order flow. From Monday, my order flow was the same. The buy I took on Wednesday was just based on the price action I was seeing, and it was not long term because I already knew what price was doing. I was just aiming for this high for a possible liquidity sweep before price continued down. So yesterday, London session pushed up. We took out the Asian highs. Then we came, we respected this imbalance. And again, we had a nice pin bar prior to the equities market open, or to the stock market open, or to our KillZone time. So we had this nice pin bar liquidity sweep, and it's happening on 25,700. Again, if you are into quarter points, this is where you can also try to see whether your setup is high probability or not. If your price is tapping into a quarter point and all the confluences are lining up, it just makes you set up a high probability. So yesterday, this liquidity sweep happened before my KillZone, which means I was not in the market yet when this huge bearish candle formed, right? So let's go to M15. Remember, I'm looking for a nameable candle before I execute. So when the KillZone started, I noticed that price was already falling, right? So if my price is falling, I want to wait for a retracement so that I can enter, retracement, enter, or a price to take out liquidity here so that I enter. So I was open to seeing price tap into any of these EMAs, which are dynamic resistance, or the open price, or even come as high as this high here for equal highs or a liquidity sweep. Those were things I was looking for. I was also looking for nameable candle. So each time I get a nameable candle, as this candle was forming, I was like, you know what, there's no need to wait here because I already have a sell bias from Monday. Price has already done the damage on the top here, liquidity sweep. It's already in motion. If it was going to pull back, let's say from here, stop loss always has to go above your nameable candle, right? So if it was going, let's say this candle closes, then price decides to come tap here, that's still fine. That's how price moves. It can take me out, but then if my still sell still forms, then I still execute my trade. So I saw this nameable candle, which is a pin bar. We were on a quarter point, 25,500. We're also on a bearish order flow from a higher time frame. So I actually executed this trade within this 15-minute candle. So maybe let's go to M3. I'm not sure if I used M3 or I used M5. I believe I used M5. So that week you saw on H1, sorry, on M15. I believe, let me just mark it, but it's one of these retracements which you see on M3. So always start from a higher time frame, then drop down. So if you notice this area here, we're just going to mark it like that. Let's actually go to M5. So on M5, you see clearly that we've got a nameable candle right on that zone. Is that pin bar was forming on M15 within this week. That's where I get my nameable candle. So as soon as I got my nameable candle, I was in this trade on the next candle you see. And I think I managed to catch my 100 points here, slightly above, if I'm not mistaken, probably 150, 120, 130. And my trade was a success before this pullback even happened. So in case I had missed this trade, I was still going to come back and look for an entry here because here now you've got an inside bar. Price is rejecting on the 13 EMA, which is a dynamic resistance, and on this red line, which you see, which was that zone from the previous week, which was the gap. I think it was the demand zone from last week where price was coming, and that would have been another opportunity to take the trade. And again, if you want to see this setup, I shared it on WhatsApp and Telegram. You can also follow our TikTok. I'll try to drop the link because all these trades they are shared daily on TikTok or whenever we take the trades. So that was my trade for yesterday. So Nasdaq has been okay for the whole week. Um, then coming into today, so I come back to a higher time frame. I want to see what's my picture here. So where do I think price can most likely get to? So seeing that I'm coming from a whole number, which is 26,000, chances are my price can get to 25,000, right? So that's like what a 1,000 point space or 1,000 point range to work with. So knowing that price can get there and knowing that we're in a bearish momentum, we are creating lower lows, lower highs. Most likely this is a support area as well. If you notice when we broke here, we only came to retest once, bounced again. So price can most likely push up. Now I'm looking for a point of interest. When price, or rather, if price pushes back into the zone during my KillZone time and respect the zone, this resistance, I'm going to take sells coming back to these lows or coming back to this zone or coming down to 25,000. If price pushes slightly above, comes into the 50 or into this order block, again, I'll sell from there. So my bias remains sells. And always remember, if price is selling, it's lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And sometimes you get equal highs or a liquidity sweep before the sales continue. Those are the things you are looking for. So it's lower lows, lower highs. This low was slightly higher, but again, we had a liquidity sweep, lower low, lower high, lower low. So if we create a lower high, or maybe we get a liquidity sweep and there's enough volume today, I'll still look for sales. But at the same time, let's say price goes sideways until my New York trading time, and it shows me signs of a buy, I'll still take a short-term buy coming back into this point of interest. So I just thought let me share my weekly recap of Nasdaq because we've been actively trading Nasdaq. We also took one or rather two trades on German 40. I won't really get into them, but let me quickly show you what I was looking at. So yesterday, or rather the day before, I took sells during London session. I think I took a sell here based off price rejecting this area. I was looking for price to drop. This took me out. I had a loss here. Then yesterday I came back to the charts. I took sells somewhere in here. But if you notice, I had a point of interest here. So my stop loss was outside the range. I was open enough to see that, okay, prices dropped and there's room for price to retrace back into this point of interest before the sell happens. And I was going to be targeting this low, this low, this low. Again, I think this was shared on TikTok. So I'll try to drop the TikTok link in the description so that you guys can follow and check our results. So price eventually retraced. Again, we got a nice pin bar. I always try to look for nameable candles just to confirm my trade. Even before the sell I took, you can see there was a liquidity sweep, a pin bar, and I put my stop loss outside the nameable candle in case price retrace. Same applies to the New York session. Although I did not look at it in New York session, I think I only checked this trade a bit later. whereby I ended up closing it somewhere in here, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the trade was shared on TikTok, and yeah, this price also moved to our direction. So German 40, I haven't mainly been trading it because if you look at this price action, it's not too clean for me. There's no clean trend. A lot of choppiness was going on here, especially if you look at it from the 4 hour time frame. So that's why I also haven't been trading much of German 40. This is one of my main um, assets which I trade. So I had, or rather, if you see the price action is a bit ugly, I haven't had the best of setups, but hopefully soon as we come outside this ugly price action, I'm believing price can most likely maybe retrace into this quarter point. Again, if you see I've got quarter points here, 24,500, 24,000, 23,500. So from here you can see we came straight down to here, then we fell into that choppiness. Now that we're outside this range, we're entering a new range. We're at this point of interest. If we can come down and stay below it, price has got chances of pushing down to 23,500. So that gives me a potential sell bias on German 40. So now if I come to H4, where is my point of interest? I would say 24,000 remains my point of interest. Then I can see I've got a little minor zone here. If price can retrace, get into that point of interest, I can still look for sales. Although I have to admit, price is still not so clear, although this week has been better than the previous 3 weeks, if you see. Right, this week has been better. This ugly, ugly, ugly. This is better because at least you can see there's a bit of volume in the market. So if we can come here and get something like this, I'll take a sell. I'll only start looking for buys if price comes above this level, respects it, and start pushing back towards 24,500. That's the only reason I'll start looking for buys. At this point in time, I'll say I'm looking for sales. So I don't think I've got anything else to discuss. This video was specifically done to explain the Nasdaq setups which we took and just to explain a few things. So if any of this makes sense for you, or maybe if you want to understand more of how I trade, please do get in touch. Our WhatsApp group is active, Telegram is active, mentorship active, one-on-one sessions active, and you can just join us. Let's grow together. If this is making sense for you, then get in touch. I do use moving averages. I use the 13 EMA, I use the 50 EMA. So the 13 EMA is the red one. Then the 50 EMA is the aqua. Then the black one is the 200. I'm just going to put B, and the 800 is the navy, which you see here. Those are the moving averages I use, inspired by BTMM by Steve Mauro. Then I use a little bit of ICT concept, but it's mainly price action and just putting everything together, understanding how price is moving, where it's going to, where my points of interest are, and waiting. The main thing is the waiting part, just being patient for your trades. If you see something familiar, especially if it's inside your kill zone time, you take the trades. This is specifically for day traders. So it's either you're trading London session or you're trading New York session. One of the two. If your setup appears, you execute. If there's no setup, there's no trade. So right now, I believe London session is about to start. So if we do get something during London, I'll still share on the WhatsApp or Telegram channel. I'll just see where to share whatever I see. And the results will be posted on our TikTok. I'll try to drop all the links on the description so that you guys can just keep track of the progress. And if you want to learn, like I said, just get in touch. If you're already doing great, if you want an accountability partner, please do get in touch. Let's work. It's about 8 weeks left to the year, probably 5 proper trading weeks. Because as we get into December, the market slowed down, and stuff like that. So probably 8 weeks before the year ends, let's try to make something out of the time which we have. So if this video made sense to you, please throw a like, share, comment what you'd like to see more, comments, any questions if you do have questions, and don't forget to subscribe. If you watched until the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.